Well, hi everybody. Welcome to our final app webinar of the school year. We've had a good time doing this and hopefully giving you a lot of good information this year. We'll continue doing it again next year, but for now, we're going to end the year showing you a pair of apps from pretty popular software developers. We're going to look at the iReadWrite app from TextHelp, also known for their Read and Write Gold software, and we'll look at the Firefly app from Kurzweil, also known for their text reading software there. Let's start with the iReadWrite app. This is an app that they bill as benefiting struggling readers and writers. It definitely benefits struggling writers. It's more so a writing app, I would say, than a reading app. It costs $19.99. We'll open it up here and take a look at it. So this is what our interface looks like. Folks that are familiar with Read and Write Gold will be familiar with some of the reading aspects of this. Also some of the writing aspects. I think the biggest benefit of this is when we get into writing, we get into spelling. What you see over here on the far side, this is where our word prediction list is going to be. So when we start typing, it's going to start guessing what we're trying to write up here. Now, when it does guess, it uses context, contextual, and phonetic spell checkers. So it's if you have a student that has a learning disability that struggles with writing because they're just a poor speller, if they can get close, iReadWrite does a pretty good job of guessing what they're trying to write. Just for example, as you can see here, I've written something out, and we'll show you what another key piece to this is, and then we'll go and practice some of our spelling. But if we tap near the beginning of this, we look here now, we've got a play and stop button. We can hit play and we can listen to we can listen. Hi everybody, welcome to our final app webinar of the year. We've done several this year. We've had a good time doing it. We hope you've learned something from them, and we're going to continue doing it next year. But to round out the year now, we're going to look at a pair of apps that come from some pretty popular software developers. We're going to look at the tool iReadWrite from TextHelp, who's also known for their Read and Write Gold software. And we'll look at Firefly from Cambium Learning, also known as from their Kurzweil software. So we'll take a look at those two today. Let's jump right in and start with iReadWrite. iReadWrite is similar to Read and Write Gold. It's built as a tool that can help struggling readers and writers. I think it's probably more beneficial for the struggling writers angle of this. What you see here is when we open this up, this app costs $19.99. We open this up, you've got your area for writing here. This tab over here, this part of the frame is for word prediction. And this word prediction is really nice. It predicts contextually. It also predicts phonetically. So if you have somebody with a learning disability that's just a poor speller but can get close phonetically, it's probably going to be guessed over here. As you write, we've also got options here to read what you write. You see the play button that'll play what we've written, that'll play out loud what we've written. We also have a stop button there, and we've got the jump forward, jump back buttons. I'm going to hit play, and you can hear kind of what I've written here, so we can hear the voice that this is using.
Hello, my name is Jim. I am a struggling writer. This app helps me through the use of word prediction and reading my writing back aloud to me. Let's try spelling a few words that confuse me.
So there you go. You can hear that uses a pretty good voice. We've got the dual highlighting there, just like Read and Write Gold does, so that you can follow along with what it's reading, and you can hear where your mistakes might be. Now let me show you some of the word prediction and how it works here. So let's say I'm a phonetic speller. I struggle with spelling words, and I want to write the word giraffe, and I spell it J-I-R-A-F. And then by the time I get to the end of the word there, you're going to see over on the far side here, here's what it's trying to guess based on what I've written there, and we have the proper spelling of giraffe there. Now the way that this word prediction piece works, if I tap on giraffe, it reads it out loud. If I tap it again, or if I hit this arrow, it's going to add that into my document in place of what I've typed there.
Giraffe. Giraffe. Giraffe.
Or it's supposed to anyway. Now it's making a liar out of me.
Giraffe.
Let's try holding it down, and then we'll show you one other thing. If we hold it down, we get the dictionary.
A spotted hood and small horns and very long-necked legs. of savannas of tropical Africa.
We get the dictionary and we have that read out loud. We can listen to it again by hitting the play button, or if we hit the select button, it's going to add that into our document. Let's try another word here just to see how this works. Let's try gymnastics. So let's say gymnastics. I'm going to spell it J-I-M-N-A-S-T-I-K-S. Not really anywhere close, but I spelled it out phonetically, and look up in the corner here, we've got gymnastics spelled properly. So if I tap on that arrow,
Gymnastics.
it should add that
Gymnastics.
into my document for me. Let's double tap.
Gymnastics.
And it looks like today it's making me hold it down. Yesterday, if I was hitting the arrow or double tapping, it was adding that for me. Let's try it one more time, see if we can get an image in that as well. Let's try elephant. E-L-L-A-F-I-N-T. And that's not spelled correctly, but again, it's able to guess. So let's hold down elephant.
Elephant.
And there you'll see,
No.
not only does it give us the definition, but over here it uses images, and it gives us 2 images of an elephant so that we can kind of see what that looks like too if we struggle with reading that or we don't want to listen to what the definition is. So for some of these, for some words that it has an image for, it'll plug an image into the into what you're doing. For others, it won't do that if it doesn't have one, but it is a really nice word prediction that helps those students that struggle with spelling. As you can see here, it's done a pretty nice job of picking up things that I've spelled incorrectly. So we do have the reading piece. Again, it'll read out loud. It'll highlight, dual highlight, so it highlights the sentence, it highlights each word as it goes through and reads. We also have a spell check here. If we hit spell check, it's going to do a couple of things. It's going to go through and it's going to highlight misspelled words in red, and here it just doesn't recognize app as a word. I'd probably spell that out as application. The words you see highlighted in blue, that's similar to Read and Write Gold's confusable word checker. So anything that's confusable, it's going to highlight in blue. So you see it's got my name Jim highlighted in blue. That's a homophone with GYM, so it's got that there as well. If we didn't know which one we wanted, when we were checking, we could highlight, hover over one and have it read back out loud, give us the definition. If we kept going through this, if we went to the next word, me, we'll see me, M-E or M-I, through T-H-R-O-U-G-H or T-H-R-E-W. Here is, let's see the word to. If we tap on that, there's 3 options for the word to. That confusable word checker is a nice piece that's built into that spell check that makes everybody check and make sure that they've done what they've intended to do there. If we go to that double A button over here, we can change up our fonts. We can make that bigger if we want. It's 20-point font right now. We can crank it up a little bit. We can also change our font style. And just like some of the other ones that we've seen, this app has the Open Dyslexic font. So we can change that font to Open Dyslexic to help our students that have dyslexia if they need that option there. We can also change the color of the text. Right now it's black. We could change if we change the background color, we may want to change the color of the text as well. If we look at the settings area, here's where you change the background. So we've got white background. If we can change that background color to anything in that color range there. We'll leave it at white right now. We have it set for our spelling error color to be red and our sounds like color to be blue. We can change that if we want. Voices we can change, and we change that by just tapping on that box, and it cycles through voices for us. So there's Jill, there's Samantha, and Tom. Those are the 3 voices that we get. We can change the color of the highlighting, the background, and the foreground. We can choose whether we want this to continuously read. If we don't, we can it'll read by read word by word, but we'll leave it at continuous. We can choose our speed, and it can be fast, slow, or medium. So it's very limited in kind of what you can choose, but you do have some options there. We can take off the sounds like, take out the predict the next word if we want. We can add user spellings also. So we'll see. I'm going to just try something here and see how long, see if it's picking up my last name, since we've done that a few times. It may take a little while to pick up user spellings that they've added in this. So this is kind of how our iReadWrite tool is going to look. It does a really nice job with prediction. It does a really nice job with the spell check. It does a nice job reading out loud in the voice. has it has a good voice to it too. The one thing that's a little disappointing with this is, you know, you wish it would do a little bit better job of reading outside documents. You can get outside documents into this, but it's not quite the way that you would think it would have to be done. Typically, we can pull something in right from this app. To get something from another type of document into this, we'd have to go into another app and send it from that app. And there's very few apps that will actually do that. One of them is Dropbox. So if we go into Dropbox, this is how we would send something to be read in iReadWrite. We go into Dropbox, and from Dropbox, we'd have to find a certain type of text. There are only two that you can open in here. You can open RTF files and TXT files. That's it. Nothing else will open into iReadWrite to read out loud. But here we've got an RTF file. If we go up and hit the arrow coming out of the box, you'll see one of the options. Oop, nope, the arrow coming into the box rather. One of the options is Open In, and if we choose Open in iReadWrite here, then it's going to go back into Read and Write Gold, and it's going to open, or iReadWrite, and it's going to open up that document that we've saved in here. Again, it'll only work with RTF or TXT files. And I will tell you, we did save one, I forget which one it was, whether it was an RTF or a TXT, and one time when we did that, this is how it opened up in our document. So there are some little quirks to it, but we should be able to open those up, and then once you have that opened, then you can go to where you want to read, hit play, and it'll start reading that out loud. But again, it's kind of a pain in the neck to get either a TXT or RTF file in there. If you look at that file folder, if we open that up, anything that we've opened from somewhere else is going to be located in there. We can tap on it and open it again. So once we've sent it from Dropbox once, we shouldn't have to do that again. The other option here is a blank sheet of paper. That opens up a blank document for us to start writing in. So this really is a nice app for writing. It's a great app for writing. It leaves a little bit to be desired on the reading angle, I think. But as a writing tool for a student with a learning disability, this is a fantastic tool. Take a look at one other one here today. We're going to look at a tool called Firefly for Kurzweil 3000. Firefly is a free download, but it's not going to get you very far unless the area that you work has a site license for Firefly or for Kurzweil. That's the only way you're going to have access to this, because once you download it, you need a username and a password to get in. So that username and password comes as part of the site license for Kurzweil. So even though it says it's free, don't be fooled. You have to be part of a certain group to be able to use it. Once you log in, you'll see here you've got access to all different types of files, or all different folders. We can open up folders for different school districts. There's one for myself right there. If I open that up, it's going to show me what I have as private or public. I'll go into my private folder there, and you'll see we've got one document that we've scanned into this. Now if we open that up, here's what it looks like, and across the top I can hit play. And it should start.
Email Lily's teacher, MR. Slinger announced to the class that he was going to marry MS.
So you can hear some of the issues it has with reading right now. The nice thing with this, this is just like reading a document we've scanned into Kurzweil. If you're familiar with Kurzweil, you can scan documents in, and then on Firefly Online, you can load them into the folders and then access it through the app this way on your app. So you can get full color. You can get full color pictures in here. You get your text in there. You get the Kurzweil audio. The Kurzweil audio voices. If you hit options, you can change your voice. You can change your speed there. You can have it highlight by the line, sentence, or paragraph, and you can choose whether you want best speed or best clarity in the reading. As you heard, like it had a problem with this decorative type of font as part of the beginning letter. It had problems with Mr. It read it as MR. It had problem with Miss. It read it as MS. It does work well. It allows you basically to access your Kurzweil files, but again, we can't get anything into Firefly from Firefly. It all has to be done on a computer, and it has to be hooked up to the Firefly online account as well. So you would scan something in through your Kurzweil software on the computer, then load it into Firefly, then you could open it on your iPad using the Firefly app. You have good access to lots of different libraries on here, but again, it's going to cost you. Even though it's a free app, you have to have the Kurzweil site license to be able to access this at this point. I don't know if they plan on changing that where you can buy the license of Firefly to get this or just buy the app, but currently it's part of a site license. So those two apps we showed today, both good, both have their drawbacks, but it's nice to see these two companies that are so good at their software products diving into the mobile app game as well. That's going to do it for the app webinars for this school year. We'll be right back at it when you guys get back to school in August. But for now, if you have questions throughout the summer, please feel free to email me at james-stachowiak@uiowa.edu.